Hi, this is Nicholas Bell with Ion Cinema, here to review Pool of London, which makes its way to Blu-ray May 5th, 2020, courtesy of Kino Lorber. Kino Lorber, the label has been releasing quite a bit of classic and underrated obscure titles from a variety of British filmmakers and British cinema that has not been on release before. They've recently had items from John Schlesinger, Joseph Losey, David Lean, and now this month a couple of Basil Dearden's B-side. Dearden is a director who I find has been very underrated. He's probably best remembered for his, what I would call a masterpiece, Victim from 1961, starring Dirk Bogarde, about a gay man who is blackmailed for his sexuality, which was years ahead of its time. Pool of London is technically a film noir. It came out in 1951. It is notable for having cinema's first interracial romance on film, even though that's a romance that never gets physical and never really goes anywhere. It stars Bonar Colleano as Dan MacDonald, and he plays a ship docks in the space of water on the Thames known as the Pool of London. And as they disembark, it's made clear that he is a man that likes to smuggle things on and off the ship. So while they are stationed there in London, he robs a jewelry store and tries to smuggle some diamonds back on the ship. Meanwhile, his friend, Johnny, played by Earl Cameron, has a romance with somebody named Pat, played by Susan Shaw. Shaw and Colleano were actually married in real life. But their romance goes sour when he sees her go off with another man when he's going back to the ship. Dan MacDonald gets his cohort to smuggle his package back on board, but he realizes that the authorities are onto the gig, and he has to stop. He has to go scour London that night to find Johnny, to stop him from going back on the ship because of what will happen to a black man if he's found with these diamonds. So that's pretty much it. It's a socially conscious film noir. It was written by John Eldridge and Jack Whittingham. It is material that Dearden would later revisit at the end of the decade in Sapphire, a film that it's a police procedural about a woman who's able to pass as white and is murdered for it, and won the BAFTA, which was written by Janet Green, who also wrote Victim. So Pool of London really predates what Dearden does later on, and it's a very simple film. It's a very raggedy, around the edges film in some regards, despite its capturing of 1950s London, which looks fantastic. It recalls to me a little bit of John Cassavetes' Shadows as well. It arrives at the same time as The Captive Heart, which was Dearden's only stint at Cannes, 1946 film, also worth checking out. But Pool of London, it's ahead of its time compared to the States. We didn't have an interracial romance until later in the 50s with Harry Belafonte and things like Island of the Sun and The World of Flesh and the Devil, a film that was kind of retooled for Z for Zachariah. Overall, I would give Pool of London 3.5 out of 5 stars, and Kino's release of the film on Blu-ray, 3 out of 5 stars. Thank you.
Hey, this is Eric from IonCinema.com. If you want to support us, subscribe below. For more reviews, interviews, film festival coverage from Sundance, Cannes, Toronto, you want to check out these guys on this side.